Calura Gloss is our liquid Demi-Permanent that's ammonia-free, PPD-free, and 100% alcohol-free, which is awesome. I know earlier there was mention, with other brands, there's alcohol that can be very drying on the hair, but it can also, alcohol causes your hair color to fade.
Like, why would they do that? I mean, is it cheaper? Like, what's the...
It's just something.
It's so annoying.
Well, you got to remember the technology was developed over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So they didn't know what they know now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, somebody was saying that shade, now they're putting alcohol in shades where it wasn't there before.
I thought that it was always
there. They just
Really?
haven't changed their formulation.
Now, there is something, I don't know I can't remember the name of the ingredient, but I know it's banned in Europe right now.
That's in
That's in
Q.
Oh my god. Is it the PPD? It's like
No, it's not PPD. It's something, I can't remember the name of it. It's like some scientific word that I can't pronounce, but yeah, so it's banned. I'll go on a high horse in just a minute about certain things on that. But with that being said, this will last up to 24 shampoos. So notice how I said up to. So it just depends when our salon guest leaves us, what they do to their hair afterwards. Are they taking that flat iron curling iron at 450 degrees, without a heat protector on there? Are they constantly outside doing stuff? Are they, constantly shampooing their hair? I mean, there's going to be so many different factors. Are they using cheap products on their hair after they leave us? So many different products, but I do feel from day 1 all the way up to that day 24 that the shine and condition is there. So I've used a lot of Demi-Permanents out there. I used to use, for the majority of my career, the first half of my career anyway. With that being said, it could dry out the hair, it might not last as long. So the great thing about Calura Gloss is that we have what's called a hybrid technology. And ours is both acidic and alkaline. And acidic Demi-Permanent, what that means is it has a low pH below 7. It's usually conditioning, it's gentle on the hair, but the biggest drawback is that it fades out the hair super quick. Whereas an alkaline-based Demi-Permanent, it has a higher pH above 7, it lasts longer in the hair, but the major drawbacks is that it can be harsh on the hair, the way that it feels afterwards, and it could lift or shift. So we decided to give you the best of both worlds at Oligo and give you a hybrid technology. So it has a pH of an alkaline. It has a pH above 7, but it has the conditioning factors of a acidic. And we have what's called, I call it a magic buffering agent. It's called, if y'all are interested in this, disodium phosphate. And what disodium phosphate does, it resists changes in your hair's pH. So that's what prevents it from lifting or shifting. Sound good?
That 10 does not fade. I was really surprised by that. The 10-minute
You
color.
are correct.
Like, they come back in and then like months later it's the same color.
It's there.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah, I've had a redhead tell me the same thing. She tried the 10. Copper red.
Oh yeah.
She said she couldn't believe it. And I couldn't duplicate it on my phone because it just would not take the picture that I was seeing with my own eyes. But, it does stay.
It does stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I haven't seen that with any other line say that well. It's like, wow.
I'll take it then. I'll write it.
What was I saying? I'm like, something shiny scroll moment. Oh, sorry. So no lifting or shifting, but it also has a shine complex in there. So it's going to keep the hair super shiny. We have hydrolyzed vegetable protein that will strengthen the hair. And then we have acai fruit extract that's going to keep our hair looking young and youthful. So with that being said, the biggest difference between this and our competitor out there, well, you know who I'm saying, is that we don't have that brown or tan backing. So that's the one thing that I've seen that people who've used that brand that switched over to ours is that they're used to the brown or tan backing. And if you're used to that, there's nothing wrong with it. You could take like maybe 1 to 2 capfuls of the neutral or maybe add a 1/4 ounce to your formula if you want that brown. You could do the neutrals or even the neutral browns. The neutral browns are slightly warmer than the neutrals, but you could add that into your formula if you're used to that. Another thing is, let's talk about toning because it's 3 to 10 minutes. a lot of people who are used to using shades leave it on for 15 to 20 because that's what the processing time is. Ours, if you leave it on when you're toning for 15 to 20, then it might over deposit because it's pure tone.
That's where we found.
Did that happen?
Yep.
Yep.
They dry hair and all that.
You can put it on dry or damp
I
hair.
like to do it in the bowl.
We had lunch.
I like to do it in the bowl
Yeah,
too
yeah.
because who has time for that, right?
Exactly.
Everything's processing at one time. We'll break the base and gloss at
Oh,
the same
yeah.
time. And so with our old color line, we would break the base within 10 minutes. We would gloss, and the gloss stays on 20 minutes, and it came off. So that's what we started to do when we got all of this, and realizing that it was going too dark. It was staying on 20 minutes instead of 3 to 10. And I did it on myself, and I went from having all these highlights to gone
Yep.
with a level 9.
Yeah.
Gone. Because we went back here and had lunch, and we processed for 20 minutes. And it was way too long.
So I did a color melt on my one of my good friends, and she has really, really porous mid lengths and ends. Her hair's just like that naturally. And so anyway, I didn't put clear into my formula when I was melting, and I used permanent on her new growth area, but then I was melting with gloss, and left it on the full 20 because you could also deposit only with this, which is a 20-minute processing time, but if you look at the processing time in the back for that, there'll be a little star by it, and that little star just means be mindful on porous hair that it might be 10 to 15 minutes because porous hair tends to take her color more quickly, right? And yeah, I overtoned her, so it was a happy mistake. You better believe that never happened again. But I had to do a little soap cap and, remove some of that tonality out, and she was not happy, and I was like, it's...
So, any heat with this?
Technically, you're not supposed to, but can you? Yeah, you can treat it like shades of Q if you wanted to.
And why would we, for gray coverage?
Yes.
Just to bump open the cuticle?
You could do like 20 minutes under, the heat and then 10-minute cool down, kind of like shades. So you could do it the same way.
We've been doing 15 and 15 under a medium halo, just medium, not hot.
You could do that
But
too.
do we even need that is the question?
No, you don't necessarily need it. But I mean, it's not going to hurt it. Whereas Calura Permanent and Calura 10, you do not want to put underneath heat. But this is a little bit more forgiving.
But it's not necessary is what you're saying.
It's not necessary. Yeah,
Do you think Malibu C would take out if it does overtone?
absolutely.
Okay.
You can do Malibu C, but I just like we have our black light lighteners. I'll either take the extra blonde, and if I'm just removing tonality, you do 2 ounces of warm water to 1 ounce extra blonde. Do your soap cap, and probably in like less than 5 minutes, it will come out.
Let's just hope it doesn't overtone anyway.
Yeah, it won't, because actually last week, I wish I had this on tape. This woman was awesome. She's the owner of the salon, and faded out, I would say strawberry blonde hair, and so we took the gold and copper intensifiers and just did that on her mids and ends, and it was a little too much when she was blow drying, and she's like, nope, that's not it. And she goes, this is too dark, too intense for me. I said, okay. So we took the 2 ounces of water and 1 ounce of extra blonde, did this. We didn't even leave it on for 5 minutes without shampoo. Just kind of did that little number and just worked it in, and then when we did it, she goes, this is perfect. I'm like, see, it worked out.
Okay.
Now, depending on the tonality, it might take a little bit more than that. Everyone's going to be different with their hair characteristics. I know certain brands have a bond builder, and they're Demi-Permanent. They don't. So here's the thing, and here's what drives me bananas, is the word bond builder is thrown around loosely these days, right? It's a marketing ploy. Demi-Permanents don't go to the cortex of the hair, which is where the bonds live, right? I'm not going to say that it doesn't do anything to the cuticle layer or the surface layer of the hair, because it might do something to it, but that's not your bonds. So, and from my understanding, you're paying more for the bond builder and your Demi-Permanent, right?
So annoying.
Because it used to be just in a few of the shades, and now I think they're switching it out to everything. And I think with that formulation, that might have hindered some of the formulas. That might be why.
Well, that's the problem, because they're putting it in not only the demis, but the permanent.
Oh, they're putting in the permanent?
Oh, yes. This started with the S line.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been hearing it from every major brand. They're doing it, I guess, because they're trying to keep up with their competitors.
Yeah.
If they're offering a bond builder or a bond protector, they've got to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
The problem with the bond builder is like the marketing out there, like the clients already know about
Yes.
it. They want to know. I'm so against Olaplex because,
Yes.
well, my clients don't know that I'm not using anything like that, but some people come and ask because they hear on it.
Yes, that's the thing. There's a lot of misinformation out there, and if you don't do your homework or read the fine print, like the one that you just mentioned, only repairs, but you have to read the fine print. Broken, the keyword is broken, disulfide bonds. So if they don't have broken disulfide bonds, you're wasting
Exactly.
products, and you're probably going to fry the you-know-what out of your salon guest hair, but they're not going to know about it because what you the treatment and what you send them home with is loaded with silicones. And in fact, I tell people all the time that use that brand, do the shear test. Take a big chunk, lightly go up the hair shaft, and you'll see wax-like substances come off. Yes, and it's because it's coating the hair, and it even gets to a point to where it coats the hair so much to where color won't penetrate. Let's say they're a level 20 and they're going to go back to their natural level 6 in the fall. Good luck, because their cuticle is so like coated with silicone that the color can't penetrate to go to the cortex. But then what happens? All of a sudden, it's our hair color's fault. Our hair color, something happened to our hair color to where it's not working, but it's that product, and it drives me bananas. When it comes to this, there's so many avenues you can use. So you could use it to tone with, you could use it for global application or to low light with, you could use it for corrective work or to pre-fill the hair. So you name it, you could use this for it. What are some of the services you all do with gloss?
All the above.
All of the
Everything you
above,
just said.
everything.
Yeah.
All right. Now, keep in mind, and I'm not going to bore you, I'm just going to give you all formulas because I'm not going to go through like what each of the numbers and letters mean. With that being said, the neutrals and the neutral browns will blend up to 30% white hair. So what we're going to do, if you want to do white hair blending with the neutrals or intense neutrals, or not intense, I'm sorry, the neutrals or neutral browns, we're going to do 1 part neutral or neutral brown to 1 part if you were to use any of the other Calura Gloss fashion shades. We're going to use our 7 volume and process for 30 to 35 minutes.
So what was the ratio that you said? One part of the neutral?
Yeah, you could do either the neutral or neutral brown, depending on the tonal direction, because the neutral brown has more red in it. It's 50% red. So think of the neutral browns as the A or B series in Calura Permanent. It's that like chocolate series. It's a little bit warmer. Yep. Now, let's say they want a little bit more. They want, up to 50%. We're going to go to the intense neutrals. But here's the thing. We're going to do 1 part intense neutral to 1 part Calura Gloss fashion shade. We're going to use 13 volume. And we're going to process for 30 to 35 minutes. And just to let you all know, Calura Gloss for the intense neutrals has its own dedicated developer, and it's the 13 volume. And the only reason why we have a 13 volume for the intense neutrals is because you remember how I said that our intense neutrals has that darker blue pigment? So with gloss, when we were testing it out with the 7 volume, it was just over depositing too dark. So 13 volume just maintains that shade value. And remember, there's 0 lift in Calura Gloss, so you don't have to worry about that 13 volume shifting.
You said 50% gray.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's some serious note taking going
I
on.
love it. Usually they don't take notes. Stylists don't take notes. I love this.
And you gotta remember all this if I don't remember.
And just to let you all know too,
You should see my Italian class notes this morning.
on Oligo's website, if you go to oligopro.com, under the education menu, under online classes, we'll say on demand, there's videos of the Calura ecosystem that talks about Calura Permanent, Calura 10, Calura Gloss, and our retail line. And then there's the blonde universe of Blacklight, which yours truly is on that video. And we talk about the Blacklight Smart and the Blacklight Lighteners and the retail in that. So that's something, you know, after today, if you want to go watch those videos. There's also a video of my director of education giving you tips and tricks about the 10-minute color, the Calura 10.
What's the website again?
It's just Oligo Pro, Oligo Pro.
And if you
.com.
have, if you have my app, I've got links to all of that right there.
He has all the, I have.
Rich is awesome. We need to
I
clone
bet.
Rich. We have live classes, like webinars. We usually do them like once or twice a month. Also, when you're doing shadow roots, if you want something with a little bit more depth, if you're using Calura Gloss, because Calura Gloss is more on the sheer side, add an intense neutral to your formula. Just make sure you're using that 13 volume with it. But the intense neutrals are amazing to add depth in. Now, I'm also going to go to our #1 selling series, which is the 1-2 AI. Fun fact about the 10 AI is that on October 12th, we've actually declared it National AI Day, or 10-1-2 AI Day. So this is by far our #1 selling toner. But if you all are looking for the best low light there ever was, that 7-1-2 or AI is where it's at. I do recommend to take a cap or 2 capfuls or up to a 1/4 ounce of neutral or the neutral brown in it, so that way your blonde pieces don't turn a blueberry or lavender. We did recently come out with something called the Nectar Collection. So we've added lighter levels to some of our warmer shades. So one of them, the 3 or G series, we now have a level 8 and a level 10 G, which is awesome because a lot of people were requesting that. And then
She's talking about the new Nectar series, the new
so
shades.
we now have a level 8 and a level 10 gold. Whereas before we didn't have a level 8, it went up to a level 9. And the 3-4 GK series, which is our favorite, right? We now have a level 9 and 10 GK. And then in our copper series, we now have a level 9 copper, which is awesome. That's, if they want like more of it, I don't know if you all get this, but if they want more of that peachy color, this is great. And nice, this is a beautiful strawberry blonde. Someone was asking for her formula last week. Was her name Blake Lively. I don't know if you remember when Blake Lively had like strawberry blonde hair. I can't remember the name.
It ends with us.
That's it, yes. So that 10, 4-3 or KG is phenomenal.
Yeah,
Love this.
I used them. I have a couple of mine.
So here's where our problem is so far.
Yes.
I did a lot of RBs and a lot of cool blondes with the RBs, like on the pinker scale,
Yeah.
and we haven't been able to create that yet.
Ooh, yes. Okay. So,
But light, like 10.
like a level 10?
Mhm.
So I will say with our clear, same rule of 1/4 clear, 1 level. We don't recommend more than half clear with gloss just because it's so sheer, but rules are meant to be broken. So you could, I'm almost wondering, you could take the red intensifier on that with clear and do like maybe just like a little drop of the red with the clear. Have you tried
tried
that?
did
that.
And it didn't work?
It was too intense.
Too
Yeah.
intense?
It
Really?
was.
How much of it did you add in? Do you remember?
What did you do?
Like the teeniest, tiniest
Like a
drop.
boop?
Yes, if not smaller than that. And it was
Yeah.
still.
Yes, it was. We didn't. Yep. So I wanted to create like a 9 RB.
Okay.
Like the
A
VRO.
9 red, brown, or VRO, because we used to use a lot of those. Do you guys use that in shades of Q?
Do you
9
use
VROs.
9 BR? What's the O? Is that orange? Or-
Violet, red, yes. The VROs.
Mhm, violet, red.
No, it's not orange.
No.
I gotta think about that for a second. VRO.
What did the O stand for? I feel like I've looked up a formula like that
Yeah.
before.
Oh,
Rich, I'm
It
going to
was
give you
cool.
some homework. Will you pull up that new shade chart
Mm-hmm.
and tell me if that's now on there? Neutral browns would be like what you would want. That was going to be part of your formula for that. This does go up to a level 10, so that
Mhm.
part's good.
Mhm.
I'm almost wondering, what if we did the neutral brown with a drop of the red in it?
I
that
was
two?
doing a drop of the violet in it, not
Oh,
the red.
gotcha, sorry.
That's what I was thinking to do, but that is exactly what we did, is the 10 with the drop of the red.
Yeah, we did that on her. We did the
Oh.
10.
However, we left it on
Yeah, we did
for
it
20
on-
minutes
Yeah.
instead of 3 to 10 minutes.
That's why.
It's violet rose.
Violet rose, that's right. Or maybe I'm going crazy. Well, I bet there's two things that happen why that happened. That's 50% red, so, and then adding that, so that's probably why it was a little bit more intense. So I'm wondering if we went to the neutrals and then did like
A dot.
a dot of that, if that would be less intense. One thing I like to do, especially like switching lines, I know it could be a pain in the butt, but when you're cutting hair, if someone that has blonde hair, I like that opposed to swatches you can order online because swatches are kind of crappy. But this is like real people hair, and that way you could like swatch them instead of like praying to the
I paint a
hair.
white towel.
Exactly. I'm trying to think of a different tonal direction too for that.
What color was that supposed to look up? The 10 GRO? Or what was?
VRO.
The V.
So it's
VRO.
violet rose.
Well, I see VROs here, but.
What does it say
They're
in ours?
just more of a pink. I get a lot of control with those without it making them darker. And I haven't had that luck yet because I haven't figured out the formula yet.
Do you have a picture of what it looks like by chance, or the swatch?
No, we do all our red can swatch things away when we switch to Oligo.
Smart
I
lady.
think I might have it in my car. the
Oh,
swatch
that's
book.
okay. I can
Yeah.
create it. I just need to hear her take on it.
I just need to see if I can see
I
what it
tend
looks
not to
like.
like the intenses. I'd rather use the violets and the reds
Mm-hmm.
over the yes.
Now I will say this with our violets, ours is more of like a silvery gray violet in it. If you want something a little bit more purple, the BBs would have a little bit more of that purple pigment. So it just depends. This one I love like those lighter levels because this will knock out any yellow whatsoever in the hair.
I can see mixing that with maybe just a dot of the more red
Mm-hmm.
to get the pink that I need. Because there's no pink in your line. That's my thing. I have to create. We have to figure out how we're gonna make it.
Okay, of course it says level 9, it's not available, but we're gonna look and see. Okay, so this one is saying like for that level like 5 to do a neutral, 75% neutral brown to, wait a minute, let me see. Okay, so, so this is saying you would do like 22 grams of the neutral brown to 8 grams, so probably a quarter of the red series. See
The
something,
red series, not the red.
not the red mixer. So if you did a level 7 half clear, that will dilute it down to a level 9. So that part's good. And if we did maybe instead of a 9 neutral brown, maybe we go up a level to a 10 neutral brown.
That makes sense.
So
That's
maybe
what we're
that
gonna
would
try
be,
next. So
Yeah.
that's good. Okay.
I bet that one would probably be closest. And then
I can stare at those swatches and figure it out. But I didn't know if anybody had asked that in all her years of teaching because a lot of people have left red and nobody else has.
It could be somebody on their Facebook group, you know, their group that they have, that may have asked that, but, you know, you gotta sift through that.
And my apology, I know I've asked you this like 5 times, but I don't know why, because these are newer shades and I'm not used to seeing this yet. Did you say VRO was another one? All right, now this one's for a level 9 is saying equal parts of the 9GV and the 9BV. So, and if you want to make a level 10, just add a quarter clear.
Right.
And I sent that chart to you, by the way.
You did?
This one that,
Oh,
yeah.
okay, perfect. That's all.
Yeah, I sent both to both of
Yeah.
you.
Okay, awesome.
I'm trying to think. Was there any other ones?
No, that was the only one that I wanted to just see if you had that question before.
That, because those are newer shades, right? Like they've been out a couple
Yeah.
of years now.
Yeah.
Those, because I'm like, those ones, I'm not familiar with those because when I used shades, they didn't have that. They just had like the basic, like the original, like formulas. But
Okay.
like those were a little
there's
bit
so
newer.
many now.
This back here, of course, same thing as Calura Permanent, but I do tell people that 0330 GG I put a capful, sometimes 2 capfuls in every toning formula. It doesn't matter if I'm doing a 9A. I still do 1 to 2 capfuls of gold mixer, and it's not enough to turn this green. But what's going to happen if they have any kind of porosity, that gold's going to go in and kind of fill and prevent.
So you don't have to pre-fill.
Exactly, and it kind of prevents it from being too muddy and over depositing. So gold is our friend
In this line.
in this line. I also like intermixing warm and cool together. So I love the GVs mixed with the Vs. I love the GVs mixed with the AIs. Those are great together. Now our GI series in gloss is slightly different, but slightly, not too far off. The only thing you want to add in is the GV series to our GIs to make it Redken, Shades of Q's, and GIs.
I've had some clients that want to just get all permanent color, like most of them, because they're like cancer survivors and want to try to
Right.
do something a little more mild on their scalp. So I switched them to Shades of Q, gray coverage, and mostly it just stays too warm. The MB series is just too warm. So then I switched them to this. I'm still getting warm fadage on 80% gray on a level 7. I cannot, it looks great when they leave and they're like Terry and they have super coarse hair. And of course it's finer here, so this takes and it's just totally fine, but their center is faded and orange when they come back in.
Use that 016 AB neutralizer, add a quarter of it. It makes a world of a difference because it's going to knock out the orange and yellow tones.
What's the neutralizer called?
Oh, the 016 or AB. It's that like gray looking one. And you can add up to a quarter of it. It's not going to affect the level.
Gray coverage.
Right.
So if it's a 7, I need a cool level 7 formula on gray coverage.
Okay. For in gloss, like are you talking about blending or full coverage?
Both. I haven't had good luck with either one of those to keep it cool.
To
It
keep
stays
it cool.
cool. I mean, it's cool when they're here, and then they come back, and they're really like not shampooing a lot. They're doing everything we're telling them to do.
Well, you're in Florida too, so people are outside more. So it's a different breed. Like hair color is really different from region to region,
It is.
especially in Florida. I would still do like your 7 neutral, add a quarter of this to it, the 016 AB, because that's gonna, like I said, it goes in and neutralizes those orange and yellow tones,
Without darkening it.
without darkening
Because
it.
I've been putting the 8AU in some of them,
Mhm.
which holds at first, but it doesn't. So I'm wasting the 8AU on that formula. You would put the neutralizer in instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just a fan of it because you're not adding depth because, you know, just depends on what you're trying to cancel out. But especially level 7, you're definitely trying to cancel out the orange and yellow, right? And even at a level 8, you can still have orange in the hair, just depending on who they are. So this is going to prevent that from happening and from it like fading like a funky
And
color.
it's fine for it to always be a quarter of the formula if it's even
Yes.
100% white.
Absolutely.
Now, tell me again why you're doing them on a demi versus a permanent.
Well, some of them just want demi-color or permanent color. They just, because,
It's in their head. In their head, or they want it not as harsh.
But that's the old
well, yeah, now that
competitive.
we're ammonia-free, they're.
PPD-free, gluten-free, all, I mean, if you show them all that, maybe they'll be okay with it.
And they are.
Yeah.
They trust whatever we say.
Yeah.
However, I like glosses. I think the
Right,
hair feels great, it's great. And I love these, they're great. One thing I have discovered is I used to put Shades of Q on damp hair. You don't put this on damp hair. It will, all the water will travel to the bottom and dilute your formula. So the hair needs to be way more dry with this than it does with Shades of Q.
I do that. I would just,
toning
towel dry?
what I
I
like
like towel dry. We
Really?
hit it with a blow dryer. And we don't get it 100%. A little bit damp is okay, but if it's too damp,
It's just all water.
it just starts dripping down the back of the chair.
That's interesting. I do it on damp hair. I make sure
I
though,
do
like
hair.
I get like all that like water out because it could dilute if
Uh-huh.
you have too much. But you can you'll get more longevity on dry.
Yeah.
But I feel you'll still get I would just really, really
Yeah,
like
I'm
ultra.
more concerned I dry the root really well because that's where the gray coverage is, and I don't want it to dilute. it
Oh, when you're
all.
trying to do like the white hair
Right.
coverage, then you do have to have dry.
Yeah.
To grow.
Oh, yeah, for, okay,
Yes.
gotcha.
Yes, but mids and ends,
Yeah, just like like when I toe my highlights, a lot of time you rinse out the highlights, the hair's damp, you towel dry it, and then I toe them right at the bowl. And usually, you know, it's that lighter porous hair, it doesn't have to sit as long. But you're saying with gray coverage,
With the
yes.
gray
Well, and I am also
Okay.
saying with just a regular toner, I have had the hair needs to be drier than it used to with shades of hue.
Yeah.
Because we're dripping down the back, and we towel dry, and I cut before I color because I need a clean towel.
Mm-hmm.
So they're already shampooed, and I've been cutting for 20 minutes, so
Gotcha.
it's pretty much air dry.
Gotcha.
Then. And then the color goes on, I don't have a problem. But if a client comes in with like spray on their scalp, and we're not
Oh, yeah.
gonna put color over it, we'll cleanse it. They don't have that 20 minute to sit and air dry. I blow dry more of it out and just towel dry.
Yeah.
The towel's not enough.
Right.
It's just not enough.
Hmm.
That's what we have found. So-
And that just triggers something in Calura Permanent. If they haven't shampooed in a while, or they have the scalp, the root concealer, clean it, because we're ammonia free, and I know that we're in the day and age of like everyone, oh, I'm not gonna wash my hair on shampoo, you know, when they're
Right.
getting their color, because they're, you know.
We tell them to come in with clean. dry.
Yes, exactly, exactly.